Hi everyone, I am Raul Benitez. I'm from Paraguay. I'm not English speaker, so if you hear something, if you cannot understand or is not clear, please let me know. I will clarify for you. All the questions related with my topic, I will answer in the end of presentation. Um, I will talk about ManaTI, a web assistant for threat analysis supported by domain Similarity. I am member of the Starter-Free project. ManaTI and Starter-Free project is somehow related, so it's important to talk about that. Starter-Free, we are working in Starter-Free doing free protection for NGOs around the world, reporting are dealing with their cybersecurity incident. We are in the Czech University of Prague, and we are working with security and machine learning. Also, we had a free software for intrusion prevention system. And here's the link if you want to take a look about that. So what is ManaTI? ManaTI is a web-based system to analyze, store, and organize web logs faster for or in a threat analysis team. What is the purpose of ManaTI? ManaTI assists threat analysis team to make their work faster and more effective. Before to get deep in the topic, I will tell you a little bit about myself. I said I am from Paraguay. I'm master student in CTU, member of Strategy Project. I am web developer, but nowadays I am changing a little bit. So I am working with cybersecurity people and cybersecurity environment. So all of this for me is kind of new. I'm a photographer aficionado. Here's my contact if you want to stay in touch. The co-author of ManaTI, Sebastián Garcia, he's the founder of Starter-Free Project, creator of Starter-Free Instruction Prevention System. He's a very good researcher in cybersecurity using machine learning. Well, before to talk about the thematic, I would like to put some basic knowledge and some very technical word that I will use during the talk. First of all, I would like to talk about weblogs. What are weblogs? What they are records or log of the web traffic that are being stored by server, router, honeypot, computer, etc. So every time that we are getting or we are using web protocol, HTTP or HTTPS, we are using this technology. And this connection are being recorded for any kind of servers. Also, we will deal a little bit about who is information or who is data. It's the information that we provide to the registrant when we want to buy a domain name. Most of the registrant has different structures, but most of them has the same fields. So this kind of complicated to deal with their structures. This information is public and everyone can access them. The last word is IOCs, indicator of compromise. I met some people that know this this meaning. It's an artifact in computer security area that we can observe in a network or in an operating system that is saying that something is happening in your environment. But for this talk, will be use IOCs that the meaning for domain names or destination IP addresses. Right. Let's move on to analysis malware behavior. What it is. First of all, I would like to know if some of them are analysts or working with threat analysts or working with malware behaviors in the room. Hello. I am new in this. I am developer and working with these researchers. I'm not very good threat analysis. So if I say something, please just let me know and we can learn together. Okay, in one poetic word, analysis of malware behavior means the art of understanding the traces of the malware in network logs. It's to read, analyze, identify malicious IOCs, determine malware behavior, and report the infection if it exists. But what is determine malware? What is determine the malware behavior? How will the analyst determine the malware? Well, they need to find traces of the malware in the logs that we were talking before, the web logs. But again, what are the traces? They are record of the connection of the malware inside the infected device with the internet or with the command control. So these traces typically are in the web protocol. Why? Because the most of the company block all the ports in the firewall, so no one or inside or outside the company can use the ports that they are not using for providing services. So they used to open just port for HTTP connection. It means 80 and 8080. I think most of you know that. So that is why we are focusing in ManaTI to work with weblogs, because the most malware are using web traffic for their infections. So this leads us to what the threat analysis does. I will summarize the threat analysis work, but I said I'm not an expert in threat analysis, so if I forgot something, please let me know. First of all, they need to open the web logs. That is important. They need to visualize and understand the behavior of the malware. They need to see the pattern. They need to see the URL. They need to see the information. Then they need to filter the information. You cannot see, 100 megabytes of information. It's just the traffic of one computer in, 2 hours, 3 hours. So they need to filter and searching. They need to filter and looking for patterns, and typically the threat analysis, they know some proper words and they know some regular expression that they use to for that. So they need to use some tool for that. Labels IOC. This is important. What does it mean, labeling IOCs? When we find some IOCs that you believe that is good, you put a verdict, or you place a verdict. If it's malicious, you put another verdict. So this is the work of the threat analysis. They are putting labels for each weblog or each IOCs. The verdict can be legitimate, that is obvious for safe IOCs, malicious for unsafe IOCs, that is, they are pretty sure that this IOCs is being used in a botnet, or in spam campaigns or something like that. And also false positive or suspicious. Once they finish with this, before that, how they know about the IOCs? In internet, there are plenty of database, people working in this area, and so they report the domain. So they can take the domain, say, okay, this domain is malicious because it's being used in this botnet, or is being used for cheating or something like that. And so this kind of websites, they are called reputations indicators, and there are a lot of them, but the most I use a lot, and they are very well known, are Various Total and Passive Total. I think most of the people here know about that. And so they are using this website to share the information and to share IOCs malicious and IOCs legitimate. Once they label all the weblogs or all the information in one weblog, then they start to identify patterns. They start to identify behavior in the weblog. They start to identify the malware. And once they identify the malware, but sometimes they don't identify the malware. They are just guessing which malware is, but they can identify the type of the malware, so they can report it. Report this incident and say, okay, this device is infected. You need to do something about that. And this is a cycle. So they are getting weblogs and looking information about that and reporting. So this is the work of the threat analysis. Typically, they work with one machine, one client in 1 day traffic. So it's a lot of data that they're working. As you see, there is a lot of work to be done. So how do they perform their tasks? What are the tools that the analysts use right now in the current state? Well, how I say, they need to visualize the weblog, so they're using some kind of log viewer, Apache log viewer, log expert, Sublime, text notes, and the like. Also, they're using for Linux, Unix terminal brings with a lot of well-known tools that most of us here, maybe one point of life, we use it, like Bean or WC or IWK or grep. And also most of the people right now are using big data analysis tool for this kind of work, like Splunk. But having seen all these tools, the threat analysts are still facing problems, such as huge amounts of data. I said there are a lot of data to analyze. If you see your traffic in 1 day of work, normal working day, it's a lot. Labeling data, this is a very process that not everybody wants to do. It's very challenging because you need to analyze each IOC and each weblog in the web file and put a place a verdict. Also, because they are working alone in computer, maybe they work in a team. Most of the cases they are repetitive. They are doing repetitive tasks. Also, they had some script, but not for all the cases. Much of the knowledge coming from the analysts might be lost over time. In the workflow that I already explained, learned knowledge or the label of IOCs are not shared or saved. In most of the cases, the regular expressions is remembered to determine well-known patterns in URL, but there is more information lost there. So it is difficult and tiresome. So we can agree that it's very hard to deal with it. Taking into consideration all of these problems mentioned, it was obvious we need to find proper solutions, something that will help us all our issues. That is the principle of ManaTI, that ManaTI must respect. First of all, ManaTI must be fast. That is important. There are many, many malwares created every day, and the threat analysis must deal with all of them. A storage and working team. When you put all the data in one storage, in one place, you can share this information with the rest of the team and avoid repetitive tasks, overlapping actions in the same analysis. Graphic user interface. This is good because you put a lot of tools just in one place. Using the hotkeys, they can get better and faster analysis and be more effective. Also, most of the researchers are using, or they create their own scripts. So they want to use their own script or their own intelligence in ManaTI. So we provide an API and a class interface so they can put the module there and use it. And the last one, but not for that, the less important, machine learning algorithm. That is one of the key of ManaTI that we want to provide, and we are creating some algorithm for increase the detection of malwares and so on. That is the work for ManaTI. The analyst only is working with the user interface. They don't care about the structure. They don't care about the architecture. They don't care about nothing. So they're using the graphic user interface with a lot of JavaScript implementation to make the interaction fast and good. Then this information is synchronized with the cloud. But ManaTI can work as a service, but we recommend to use ManaTI in a small group of people or in a LAN or for a limited number of users. Because when you are working with bit files, you had a delay when you want to upload files in the internet. And then you have the backend server that is connecting with the API and the interface, class interface that all the modules are created. And this part is working in background. So if you create a module, this is totally transparent for the users, and they don't need to know about that. I will talk a little bit about ManaTI basic features and usability. First of all, we create the concept of analysis sessions and multi-users. Analysis session is when you create or you upload a file and you start the analysis. You can share this analysis for the people in your team, or you can make this analysis private just for yourself. This is the basic interface. I don't know if clear there of ManaTI. It's a dynamic table. So you can upload the file there, and you have a lot of input to, for example, you have the input to put the regular expression or find for any word that you want to do. It's clear? Okay. You can search for any words, or you can sort the information where you want. You can move the tables and so on. I will put some demo about ManaTI. I think it's working. Yes. The example is using a HTTP log that is produced by Bro tool. That is the kind of tool that we are using in Stratosphere to create our dataset of malware traffic. Also, we had the weblog labeling that I was talking about. We can mark the weblog that we want to put a verdict and do it. We can place a verdict per weblog or selecting. I think it's what you're watching. Sorry, there is a situation here. Okay, I will start it over again. Okay. It's not. I know why it's not reproducing the video. Okay, but the video is only showing how you can do bulk labeling. So you can select one weblog and select all the weblogs that are related with it. Also, you can export the data in different format. I think something is. I know why. What's happening with the presentation? Get stuck. Okay, I will refresh the page. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the connection is bad. I know what happened with the presentation. The bad thing is I don't have the. Okay, I will use this. I will use this because I know what happened in the live. So you can export the information of the dynamic table in different format with the labels. That is something good. So they can use this information for sharing the data in the team or sharing to the bosses or for the client. Provide comments. You can do comments per weblog or per analysis. That is something good. You can see all the changes that one weblog is or one weblog has, because one user can do different changes in one weblog, but also the modules can do changes in the weblogs. This is something we were talking about virus total and passive total in the beginning. And so ManaTI put all these tools in one place, so you can select one IOC and see the information about that in this model, for example. In ManaTI, we had the statistics and metrics. We get some information from the user and try to show this information somehow so the user can know how better they're getting in the ManaTI and how many weblogs they are labeling, or how many weblogs they need to label, or something like that. External models, we were talking about the API, so they can create their own scripts for detecting malware behavior or for increasing the number of labels that they are doing. And this is a very hard implementation, because we believe that the human has the reasons and ManaTI is for assist the humans. So ManaTI cannot put the labels alone. So when the modules are working, we put the privilege for the human. So one human the user can put the one verdict to one weblog, but the module can say, no, this weblog has another verdict. So we had a complete process for merging verdicts. So we notify to the user that, okay, maybe this weblog is a different verdict, and so on. This is the part of researching in my work. I've been working with the WHOIS information. The WHOIS information has been studied for detecting malware behavior. We try to create a distance between two domains. This is very tough and very complicated. Or it's very complicated because it's a new concept. We want to create a numeric distance between two domains. Theoretically, two domains that belong to the same purpose or for the same company, they are somehow more close than domains that belong for different purpose or different companies. One example is here. It's taking the google.com and facebook.com, taking all the information, the WHOIS data, and using length this string distance between them. And this is the information that you can see here. And then the total distance is in the end. So it's doing a sum up of the distance. This feature also is part of ManaTI, so you can select the weblogs and say, okay, all the domains that are related with this domain, and you will see all the information in the model. And also you can see all the details inside. It's very hard to work with WHOIS information because, as I said in the beginning, the registrant don't provide the same structures, and sometimes if you want to see a WHOIS information from Argentina or from Paraguay, You cannot because you need to contact the registrant there, so it is very hard to get the information. So how these algorithms say that two domains are related or not? Okay, right now the current state in ManaTI is just a threshold. We took thousands of domains, malicious and legitimate. We create a distance between all of them, and we put the best threshold that we could find. That is the easy way to do. The results are not very good because it's just a threshold. It's nothing important. But the idea that we are finishing now, and maybe for the end of the year, will we upload this information, is to use machine learning, some classifier that we are working to predict with high accuracy if two domains are related or not. Who is similarity distance is part of ManaTI, but also if you want to just use the script, you can take a look in the repository that is open source and free for all of you. Contribution of ManaTI, all the tools that the threat analyst use just in one place. It's scalable because ManaTI is done in Django and Python. So it's very easy to create a new script and put more features. A novel who is distant measure, that is something nice because one feature that we want to add is select one IOC that is legitimate and mark all of them as all of the domains related with it as legitimate or malicious or something related. With the metrics, we create a fierce verification performance for threat analysts, so we can measure how good they are using ManaTI or comparing with the normal work that they are doing every day or the normal way they are doing. Future of ManaTI, how I say, for the end of the year, we want to finish the algorithm for who is similarity distance using machine learning. I use this labeling. Right now, we can just label web blocks, not only the IOC, so we want to put this functionality. That is very close to be done. Importance for labels, so you can have a huge data set of the domains with labels. We can upload to ManaTI to create more intelligence. That is one of the first things that we want to do, but we couldn't, is to become ManaTI as a web page for a startup-free intrusion prevention system. So in the future, the people working with NetFlows will be very glad to use ManaTI for that. Add more type of file. Right now is using just raw files and one specific file of the company that is supporting us. We want to do malware detection. The people working with threat analyst, the analysis, they know that they cannot trust totally in the algorithms because the errors are too large for them yet. So we want to do malware detection just to show the information are just to create prediction, but not take the decisions. One thing that we want to do is active learning, to start to learn from the users, increase the work of the analyst. We are open for the communities. If you had something for us, if you want to do your thesis, master, bachelor thesis, please contact us. We had topics, or if you had your own topics, please let us conclusion. ManaTI is a novel tool to facilitate the work. It's high functional and scalable. It's user-friendly, that's good. Can increase the number of labeling. We test that. That is the part of the experiments. We test that ManaTI can increase the number of labels in a factor of 3.4. Today we are releasing as open source, so now it's in GitHub. You can take a look. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It's my first time doing the conference, so I'm glad for that. And if you had a question about ManaTI, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Raul. Question over there.
Yeah. Thanks for your presentation. It's very interesting. I read the code now for your for the distant with. You use Levenstein distance between strings.
Exactly.
It's not a bit. The complexity of the processing is not too big because you must compare n square if you have n domain. So it's not. What do you do for scale up the process?
Well, that is the first time that I'm thinking about the complexity of my algorithm because it was just researching. But it's a good question. I didn't have a lot of problem to process the distance because the algorithm is well known and I know it's very good. But the real problem that I had was to create the whois database because maybe here in Europe there are some good organizations, so you can see all the fields and all the information, all the structures. But if you get domain from Thailand or to some country in South America, the structure is different, and you need to connect the servers and register them to the library. So this is more the problem that we had to deal with that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
More questions? More questions? Okay, well, thanks, Raul.
Thank you.